We're holding here on Dr. Vav Beis, the last line, and then we're going to Zayin on Aleph today. And we learn over here, that normally there's an obligation that when we have see a Talmid Chacham, someone who's has wise in Torah, we honor him. One of the ways of honor is allowing him to walk in front. This indicates that we follow him, we follow his Chachmas Torah. So we say, however, Ein Mechabda B'Drachim B'Ksharim. But when we're on the road, so that does not, and someone is going someplace on the road, that is not a place where it is necessarily an honor to be the one going first. And therefore, we do not honor through that, through Drachim Ksharim. Lo b'yadayim u'zolamos. Similarly, there's certain things where it's not an honor, wash your dirty hand. That's not called honor. And the Gemara explains, Rabbi Abayi was one of the greatest of the Amoraim, and he was Avika Ozli B'ucha, Kidmi Chamre de Ravin Abayi. And the donkey of Ravin passed Abayi. V'lo Omer Le, he did not say to him, Nezel Mar, let Mar go first. And the story goes on, the Solakai Rabbanim Mimerava, when one of the Rabbanim went from Marava, Gosle Daite, he was being arrogant. That's what Rabbi said. He said, you see, when they left, he got a little bit, arrogant. You see, they didn't act properly. Kimato the Pischa, the Bekinishta, now when he got to the entrance of the shul, so there, Amalein Neilmar. Now then Rabbi said to Abayi, you need to go first. He was Mechamed him. Amalei, he didn't say Leilmar before. Amalei, you didn't say let master go first before. Amalei, Hachi Amar Rabbi Yochanan. I'll tell you why. Because Rabbi Yochanan said a rule in Chabdin Elav Pesach, sheyesh by mezuzah. You're only honor someone's going first where there's a door that has a mezuzah. That's an honor to walk into the door, to the proper door, a mezuzah. This mezuzah in, this mezuzah loy. So, is that true? Miyata Beis HaKnesses, Beis Medrash, less mezuzah. So the halacha is that you don't have to put a mezuzah in a Beis Knesses, because mezuzah goes to a place where people live, not a Beis Knesses, not a shul. So is it true that you would have to honor someone to walk in first? No. Is that true? No. So we'll have to just qualify that a little bit more. Pesach haroi lemezuzah. It's not so much is there a mezuzah. It is a doorway which is of a house. It's an entranceway. It's a clearly defined entranceway. It should have mezuzah in the right situation. Therefore, that's where you honor. Otherwise, not. As opposed to the road or other situations. I'm Rav Yehuda Brei, the Rishim Bashmul Shilos, which made the Rav. Okay, this is another rule. In Derech Eretz. There's certain rules of Derech Eretz, of eating. One of the rules is that people are eating together, and one person is going to pass out the bread, makes the bracha and passes out. And he passes it out, but he has not yet eaten. He hasn't taken yet a bite of the bread. So the halacha is, Eina mesubin Rishoin lecho klum achiyita mavitzeya. You have to wait till the person cutting the bread eats in order for the other people to eat. The Gemara says, Yosef Osaf become a litoy mitmar. Did he say? How was it said? Now it's really. We'll see. There's no difference really. There's two ways of saying it. Aim. I'm assuming we're showing litoy. You know, or we'll say Aim. I'm assuming we're showing lecho. Was it litoy or lecho? What's the difference? Same thing. Lecho litoy. That's what it is. There's an important rule. Whenever we say something over, we must say it over in the exact words that our Rebbe said it over. So that's why it makes a difference. Why do you have to say the exact words? Because there's a klal. Until he's older, until he's 40, right? So until years of understanding. So therefore, in order to fully understand the Torah of the Rebbe, we have to make sure we keep it in the correct form, so we can always go back to it and try to understand it the proper way at a later point in life. We just kind of keep it as we heard it, and it kind of limits it to our own interpretation of what. Something more right to talk about. This is another halacha in Derech Eretz L'Chara. Shnayim mamtinim zelazeh b'kara. When two people are eating a meal, you know, they're served a dish. A kara is like something cooked, cholent. So if two people are waiting, they wait for each other. Don't eat without the other person. When there are three people eating a meal, shloshei mamtinim, then you don't have to necessarily wait for each person. It's maybe not so insulting to the person if there's three people. They don't wait. Abutzeya. Again, this is another word. Abutzeya means a person always cutting the bread. Right? So there's a loaf of bread, challah, and someone cuts it. Poishit yodot tchila. Now he really, being the one he cut it, he should really be the one who also takes a piece to eat before everybody else. Some of what we said before. Now he might say, well, since my Rebbe's here eating with me, I want to give him first. That's okay. Or whoever it is, someone gadol him on it. Shus biyado. The Gemara says, Rabbi Chana v'osik the break. Rabbi Chana was making a wedding for his son. Be'er Shmuel, Makatina, Kodev Yosef, v'kamasti the break. So what happened here is, so Shmuel, he was asikla the brei beirav. He was making his son, I believe it was a wedding, and Shmuel Bakatina called him the Yosef. He sat down, the kamasile the brei, and he taught him the following halacha. You should know this halacha. You're going to be the boteya, right? It's your suda, you're the chassan. So don't be boteya at sheyichlu omen b'pia oinim. This is another halacha. This is halacha in din. And the logic is as follows. Since the person makes a bracha, you say amen. Amen is a part of the bracha. So you can't eat the bread until you have completely finished the bracha. And therefore you have to hear the amen of those answering amen in order to continue. Remember that, right? That's what he told them. Now, Chisda slightly disagreed. And he said, you're right, but it's enough that, in other words, I have 100 people here, so if most of the people already said amen, if 60, 70% amen, so fine, that's enough. Well, if it's an issue of completing the bracha, even if the majority said amen, it's still not complete, right? So yeah, that's a good question. You're right. Now, if that was correct what they were doing, you're right. But since extending the amen more than necessary is wrong, so therefore we can't relate to what they're doing at all. And therefore we have to ignore it, and we have to view the bracha as completed once the normal time for the amen of the row of people is completed. Torah Rabbanan ein oidin loy amen chatufe. Amen ketufe. Chatuf is like, like you grab it. Don't say it. It's like I think we'll see it means like a swallowed amen. You say it should swallow the amen. You shouldn't be cut down. Ketuf is chopped down the amen. For the amen yisoima, or an amen which has no source. If you didn't really hear the bracha, you can't say amen. Well, use a bracha. Don't throw the bracha out of your mouth quickly. But as I amen amen yisoima yabanim yisay. It's mida keneged mida. If a person does that with the amen, he'll get an einish mida keneged mida. Chatufa yischatfu yamav. His own life eventually will be swallowed up earlier than you thought. Ketufa, he'll be chopped down. Yischatfu yamav. The difference is Rashi. I think something the Kfor should explain. Yischatfu maybe he might live, but it won't be so good. It'll be as though it's swallowed up. And ketufa is actually it'll be cut down. His days will be cut down. If someone is marich ba'amen, he says amen properly. He says a nice slow amen properly. Right? Marich and lo yom b'shnoiso. That's a school. They'll have long days of a long life. Saying amen. Zok to Gemara Rav Shmuel Yossi b'sudasa. Rav Shmuel having a meal. Osa Rapsini Bachia. Having a misarev v'ochel. And he didn't want to eat. He said, he came by. He says, no, you're going to join us? He says, no. Ole my daitach. Litz trufe b'hadan anan. Achil what's your opinion? Why don't you want to join us? To join us that we're eating? If you'd bring me some good food. Rashi says it's mushrooms. And guzila I think is chicken, is some guzila la'aba milachinan. When I not eat. Tamidi the Rav, he's basically saying, I don't like what doesn't like your lunch doesn't look so good today, not eating. Always Shmuel do Tamidi the Rav of Yossi B'Suta. All Ravacha comes in Ravacha like Asa Gavra Rabba. Today we have a big person who's going to make the bracha for us. He's coming to join us. So Amalahu, he said to them, Rabbi Say, you're making me savisa the Gadol Levorech. Such who said the Gadol Levorech? I say the Iker Shebsuda, the most important person of the meal, the person who's already, just because somebody Gadol comes in, it doesn't change whoever was already the beginning of the Iker person at the beginning of the meal. He's the one that should be Vorech. Hilchusar, it's not true. Gadol Levorech Afagav the Oslip Sof. It's not a question of when you come, it's a question of who you are. The Gadol is the one that should make the bracha, and everyone should be included in his bracha. It says Ochel D'mai. So we said in the Mishnah that D'mai is, yes, even though you ate D'mai, it's considered permissible. D'mai is permissible. And therefore, you're allowed to mevorech on it. So the Gemara says, well, 1 second. D'mai means the Chazal were metaken that because Amaratzim don't necessarily know how to take Trumas and Maisus properly, so there's a takana that you have to take, you can't just eat, it's called D'mai, you can't eat it until you take Trumas and Maisus. So halachazila, you can't, it's not permissible to eat. So why would you be, if you're not allowed to eat it, you shouldn't be making a birchas hamazon on it. So the more answer is interesting thing. Kevan, since the boy mafkalu, when you say, Well, now the Rabbanan said that it's true. People cannot eat mine, and it has to be you have to take truma spices again. But for people that can't afford it, for poor people that are desperate for food, so we do allow them to eat mine. So you can't say it's unedible. He has a kasha of a kasha, but this guy who wants to eat it here and bench, he's not for him it's unedible. So what's the heter? So one answer is give the boy mafkalu. Now it's true he's a millionaire, but he owns lots of property. So if you would mafkil all his nechasim or whatever he owns, whatever he would by definition become a poor person. Poor person is defined that I'm not poor. I own things. I have assets. So if he gives up his assets, so then it's a different story. And then he'll be allowed to eat to the mind. So he's not fundamentally forbidden to the mind. It all depends on his situation right now. Am I allowed to eat or not? Depending on whether I'm wealthy or whether I can always get it. Wealth is something you can easily get out of. You don't want your wealth? Be mafkir. Not. Mechilas aniyim to mine. We're allowed to give aniyim to mine. It's a sani to mine, or someone who's a guest who's on the road, doesn't have food. Shammai disagrees. Okay, the Mishnah also says Ma'aser Rishon should not put truma. So you have Ma'aser Rishon, you took truma. Okay, but still. So now it should be. In fact, should be mutter now. Yeah. So the Gemara says, cheat, of course. If Ma'aser Rishon, and then he went and took the truma for the Ma'aser Rishon for what the Kohen is supposed to get. So now, what in the world is the problem? No, you can't. Well, why can't you eat it? So why can't you bench? No, what happened here was he didn't really take Ma'aser Rishon here. He took truma, but what happened was the owner, when the produce was being harvested, he took it out already. So the obligation of Ma'aser Rishon never went into effect because it was never fully harvested. It's only when you bring it to the house and it's considered has a status of food which is harvested, you have to take. So he circumvented that. And then he took it in the house, and then he hifrish mena trumas meiser, but he lo hifrish mena truma gedola. He never took truma gedola. He never took proper truma, the first truma. Rabbi Avoya, Reish Lakish, Ma'aser Rishon, shegdim b'shiboilim. I guess maybe he did take Ma'aser Rishon. Why wasn't he took Ma'aser Rishon? No, he means it was a Levi took it as Ma'aser Rishon, and the Shiboilim, he took it. He went in and took it. Yeah, he's a Levi, so he goes out to the Shiboilim, and the owner gives him food. So it's Ma'aser that he did, but he never took Truma. So he's part of Truma. So he technically is that works. That does work. Shnema v'reivosim men Trumas Hashem. You're supposed to take Trumas Hashem. So he took Truma. He didn't take Truma G'dola, but he took Truma. He took Truma. The Truma, the small amount of Truma. The Trumas. He took Trumas Meiser. He took Meiser and a Meiser, Meiser and a Meiser, Meiser and a Meiser. Amar to the Chah. Meiser and a Meiser, Amar to the Chah. V'lo Truma G'dola u'Trumas Meiser and a Meiser. You see, you don't necessarily have to take. You don't have to take Truma G'dola and Trumas Meiser and a Meiser. Because once it's already out, you don't have to take Truma G'dola. So there's a way to circumvent the Truma. So that is, you're allowed to eat it, but it's inappropriate. So that's why it says, but I should say, it's inappropriate, but you shouldn't have, maybe you shouldn't have done that, but once you did it, and you are allowed to eat it, and you can't bench on it. So, Amalei Papa, Iyachi, Afil, Dimo Bikri, Nami. So why dafka b'shipoilin? Even if you took it once it was already piled up also, it doesn't have to be in the field. Even if you piled it up and you didn't yet bring it into the house, so that's also, you can also circumvent the Shuas Meiser. That's not true. Tzarimu. The pasuk says you always have to take Meiser. So you do have to take, you do have to take the Meiser if it's once you pile it up. Marais. So why do you know? So how do you know that how do you know that Meiser has to be taken and in the shipoilim not? Hi idgan, hi lo idgan. So it's logic that once it's already piled it up and it's already ready to be brought in, so that means that you have to take. That's what we have to take. So the one in the Mishnah you took and it is technically okay, and that's why it's not pashut, but yes, you're allowed to use it.